I am here with a good friend of mine and a friend of the station, Paul Blakey. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
Not too bad apart from a cold that won't give up. I'd like to be a good host, but not to colds.
Indeed, yeah. I nearly called you something else then, just to kind of prove how good a friend we are. But, hello, Simon. How are you?
I used to be called Dave John. Sorry, there's a guy at work who's called Dave John because we didn't know if he was a Dave or he was a John. Everyone called him Dave John. And then one day, almost a year later that I got to know him, he said, "Do you know, my name isn't Dave and it's not John, but even my wife calls me Dave John and I answer to it now at home." Because no one knew his name.
Yeah. It's like Rodney and Dave, isn't it there? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we spoke, I think, over a year ago, and you said, "Oh, next year probably going to be a little bit busier for us." We're now the year following that. It's 2025 January. Just briefly, what was it you were expecting to have in 24, and how did it really, really go?
Festival Angels is kind of one of the main things that we do. So ROC Angels looks after Street Angels and Festival Angels. Amazingly, both have seen growth over 2024, and we've got some growth coming in 2025. I'll tell you about that later. Just to keep you all on suspense there, about what is this growth that he's talking about. We set out 2023. We did 14 festivals. We've done festivals since 2011. Which started at Leeds, and we kind of grown to probably about 10 major festivals and a few one-off events up until COVID. Then obviously COVID hit, which killed off the festival industry. Sadly, some of the festivals have not returned. But amazingly, last year we ended up doing 60-odd different events, either one-night events or full-on music festivals, which kept us exceedingly busy from May, and in particular June, July and August, when I was just running around the country, running these amazing teams of volunteers at all these music events, and just providing welfare support, looking after festival goers, and helping people have a great fun festival experience. So that's kind of where the year went, and then suddenly it's Christmas and now it's next year.
So just give us the numbers then. So how many festivals did you attend last year?
So in 2024, we were, I think, if my memory serves me right, because it all became a bit of a blur, to be honest. I think there were 62 festivals, not all Festival Angels. We kind of, we just want to encourage, support, and get the church out there into different festivals and events. So we kind of got a bit of an informal network. So between us, including street pastors who did Reading and the Isle of Wight, church at Glastonbury, we kind of did 63, I think it was, festivals and events. So some of those were one-night events. So the Peace Hall in Halifax, for example, that did 34 gigs. We had teams at all of them. Like week-long evening gigs in Bedford and Derby, summer sessions, through to the full-on Download, Parklife, Kendall Calling, Latitude, Leeds, We Are Church at Greenfield. So full-on, week-long, all-encompassing, 24/7 camping festival, which is what Festival Angels started life as at Leeds back in 2011.
So you got 60 plus festivals. Now, clearly you're not doing everything, although you do quite a lot, but what is it that people can expect if they turn up to one of these festivals and they think, "Oh, Festival Angels are here"? What is it you're actually providing for people who are on site?
So it's different at every festival, but generally it's within the kind of sphere of welfare and support. So some of the events, we literally ran a welfare tent, which will be a safe place. It had some couches in, lots of stuff that people would find useful. So like suntan lotion, because believe it or not, the sun did actually shine at a few of the festivals in 2024. It wasn't typical, but the sun did occasionally shine. Rain ponchos, because, it rained. I think the worst one was Pete Tong, where it literally did go all Pete Tong in Bedford. Summer sessions, it had been a lovely day, Friday, Saturday, whatever day it was. 5:30, just as the gates had opened, it started to rain, and literally it was coming down in sheets. I think we went through probably about 400 rain ponchos in 20 minutes, just as people were like, "You've got ponchos, we need ponchos." And the rain stayed until the day after. Well, thankfully it cleared before the next day's gig, but that was probably the worst. So ponchos, sometimes lotion, plasters, because people get blisters and they're walking around with mosquito repellent, flip-flops, spikies, so all sorts of stuff that help keep people safe and have a safe fun festival. As well as that safe place to be, we run Lost Property. So we work with an amazing company in America that does lots of the big American festivals called Lift Happens, which is this really neat kind of online system for us when we find items and items are bought in. We then log it on our system and people can either come back at the festival and claim their item or contact us in the days following and we'll post stuff back out to them. And again, some really great stories because from lost property tents. And I'll just tell you a couple of people, phones these days are literally a lifeline, aren't they? So I'm sure you know, Andy, everything is on your phone. And this girl came into, again, it was Bedford, Saturday night, in floods of tears. She'd lost her phone. She didn't know where it was. She kind of had a few to drink. So we logged the phone on our system. The next day, we turn up on the Sunday night, ready for the Sunday night gig. One of the security comes wandering over to us and said, "Oh, somebody handed in this phone." The exact same case cover that this girl had described. I phoned her and said, "Oh, I think your phone has just been handed in." She said, "Oh, wow, amazing. Brilliant. Thank you. That's great. Can you post it back to me and I'll pay the postage, etc." So we took all her details and it was in Kettering. And obviously I was driving from Bedford to Halifax and Kettering is kind of on the way. I think she was a bit shocked when sort of 10:30 the next morning, I knocked on the door, said, "There's your phone." And she's like, "I won't tell you the exact word, but there's other lines."
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, no, I can get that.
Service. As I kind of stood there with this phone in my hand going, "No, I was passing." So I just thought, I'll drop it off. It saves posting it. And her alarm was set. So annoyingly, I went out to my car from the Airbnb I was stopping in. And every 5 minutes on the journey from Bedford to Kettering, an alarm kept going off. So I had to kind of sit there, stop.
Wow.
So that would have been annoying to have to post that because you can't turn phones off. Another lovely story, Leeds. Again, this young couple had obviously gone to Leeds Festival, stopping in a hotel. They lost their phone, and one of our amazing volunteers actually finished his overnight shift. So he'd been working from 10, 11 p.m. Through to 7, 8 a.m. the following morning in the Lost Property tent. This phone had handed in, and he actually went to the hotel in Leeds out of his way to drop off this phone. And this young couple posted this lovely, amazing message on Facebook, and it kind of went viral at the time, just saying thank you to this amazing Festival Angel volunteer who did that. So lots of stuff around Lost Property. We do things like cafes. So at Leeds, we have this amazing prayer cafe where we'll serve 50,000 cups of tea, coffee, hot chocolate, water for pot noodles, juice, biscuits over the course of the festival. And people buy Festival Angels mugs. So they've got a souvenir as well as something that they can buy and refill, have free refills for the whole of the festival. That also offers prayer. So we have our amazing Jesus Loves Festival kind of banners, tattoos, gospels. So people love having a selfie with Jesus. They love having these tattoos kind of plastered anywhere on their body, and we'll leave them to do that. So lots of kind of prayer and just engaging with young people, chatting to young people whilst we're in this cafe environment. And we have detached teams that will just wander around festival sites and just keep an eye on people, making sure people are safe, carrying bags, helping people put up tents, helping people navigate festival sites, which are generally enormous kind of fields, just kind of becomes temporary accommodation. We run safe hubs, air hubs at some festivals. So we've got hubs working with other amazing charities on campsites. So we're just kind of there. People can come to us if they need help and support. Latitude, we did that, and we ended up running the tractor bus, or the land train, as Latitude called it. It's not a bus, it's a train. It's a tractor train. So we ended up helping run that, and lots of our guys got involved, taking these passengers from one end of the festival site to the other on the tractor. So we do actually have a Festival Angels tractor bus calendar. A limited edition. Not many people have got one. We have 25 prints. It's free to download from our website. And you are looking at Mr. February. In this calendar. We are fully clothed. It's not a calendar girl calendar. Just to clarify that one. But, life ambition, become Mr. February in a calendar, I am there. So that was good fun as well. So lots of things that just kind of support festival goers, help create that safe environment, and actually have loads of fun whilst you're doing it. And you get to see some great music, you get to mix with lots of other great charities, and it's just great to be there and great to be part of this festival culture and festival life. That was a long answer to a short question.
It was a very good answer to an inspired question almost. I mean, this is the thing. You're talking about all the stuff that's going on. You've got volunteers, I'm guessing, all around the country. You'll have some, I would presume, might do a few festivals, but, not everybody's going to be everywhere. What are the teams like? Are we talking like a few people? Are we talking about 20? What sort of teams sizes are you trying to manage?
So we've got kind of different models. So we've got amazing places like Upton upon Severn, Perranporth, down in Cornwall. We'll just kind of have a local festival or a local series of festivals. And as individuals or a church or a group of churches just want to do something at that weekend, at that festival, so we support them. So they'll have a team of 20, 30 volunteers, very local, very localised, that we just kind of post the stuff out to, T-shirts and high-vis and some of the stuff that they need to run a Festival Angels team. They've done with it and they post it back to us for use at the next one. So that's kind of one model. The next model are these one-off events, so like Bedford, Derby, Pearsall in Halifax, which are mostly local teams that will come in with support from people that will come and support. So we have this great wealth of volunteers. I mean, we have over 1,000 volunteers on our database who've all been involved in Festival Angels over the years. So lots of them do travel and kind of support other teams and other festivals, which is great because it's kind of sharing expertise, helping the local team develop, to grow that local team, and we can move on to the next kind of local area. And then, of course, there's the full-on festivals where you arrive on a Wednesday, you're sleeping in a field, either in a luxury tent, a not-so-luxury tent that blows down when it gets windy, a car, camper van, etc., with all the wonders of portaloos and portable showers and everything that goes with it. And you kind of do 24 hours we ask for from each Festival Angel volunteer. Lots of them do much, much more, and amazing people that just go above and beyond and will step in just to make sure that everything's covered. And we run lots of stuff until Monday, usually at 12 noon when we all set off back home again. And those teams range from 30 through to 220 we had at Leeds last year. Volunteers that are all part of the Festival Angels family. So it's lots of different models. Our heart really is just, if there's a festival, an event, we can support you to have a presence at that. And it really is that simple. And, festivals, events are massive now in this country. There's lots of them, not as many as pre-COVID, but they are kind of slowly coming back. If the church wants to be a presence at a festival, we probably can help make it happen.
Whilst I already know the story of this, I think it might be just beneficial. Just give us a history. So you've got Street Angels going on, which in a sense is, I suppose, a simplified version of what Festival Angels is now. There's more kind of immediate help, whereas I guess things like Festival Angels, you can help a bit more. People can come back. You've got a different sort of relationship. But just give us, for people who don't know, what's the story of Festival Angels? I mean, you're doing amazing stuff, but how did you find yourself doing it? Because you've got to be invited. You can't just like pitch up and stick a tent. We're going to do this. So how did you find yourself doing this at all?
So it was actually the vision of a 79-year-old lady, believe it or not, a lady, Kate Dickinson. She was a Methodist lady. She went to a church and lived in the village of Thorner, which is next to the Leeds Festival site up in the north end of Leeds. And she got a real heart for the fact that these 85,000, predominantly 16, 17, 18-year-olds, rocked up every year in her back garden. And she thought, we as a church need to be there doing something for them. And she kind of tagged it on to it was some anniversary of the King James Version of the Bible, which is a person that doesn't particularly read the King James Version of the Bible ever kind of passed me by. I think there was lots of kind of, let's mark this occasion of 150 years, whatever it was, of the King James version of the Bible. That's probably wrong. It's probably 1,000 years, is it? I don't know. I'm shocked, Andy, that you don't know when the King James version of the Bible was written.
Know.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, whatever, it was a special event in 2011. And she kind of suggested that the local church do something at Leeds Festival. And the vicars were like, yeah, that'll never happen. You know, I mean, festivals notoriously are quite expensive. They're expensive to go to. They're expensive to get into. They kind of, you know, you've got a weekend basically to make the money that keeps your business going for the year. But she was adamant. She was determined. You never mess with a determined 79-year-old Methodist lady, do you? So she managed to get through to Melvin Benn, who's the top man at Festival Republic, and said, yeah, we'd love to welcome the local church into the festival, into Leeds Festival. We'll put you up a marquee free of charge. Come and do whatever you want. So in year one, she rocked up with 12 of her friends who were all aged between 75 and 85, along with the local vicar and Methodist minister, a few kettles, tea bags, coffee, disposable cups, and they ran a cafe at Leeds Festival, and sort of between 2 and 4 on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The festival goers loved the fact that their granny and granddads were there serving them tea and coffee at Leeds Festival. By year 2, she decided that at 80 now, that her festival-going days were over. So she handed it over to Andy Nicholson, who at that time was the local vicar. And he kind of doubled the size of the team, doubled the hours that they were working from 9 till 5 on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, running this prayer cafe, and they kind of developed that and made it a bit more prayerful and prayer stations and stuff like that. Year 3, Festival Republic rang up Andy and said, look, we love what you guys are doing. First of all, can you open your cafe from 12 noon on Wednesday through to 12 noon on Monday and keep it open through the night? Secondly, we've seen these street angels that wander around towns and cities like York and Leeds and Halifax. Can we kind of have roving festival angels at the festival from 12 noon on Wednesday through to 12 noon on Monday, just to kind of look after people? And thirdly, we kind of don't trust the company that run our lost property tent. We kind of trust you as a church. Can we pay you to run our lost property tent, again, from 12 noon on Wednesday to 12 noon on Monday? And Andy went, yeah, no problem. Then slightly panicked when he put the phone out about how on earth am I going to do all of that with 25 people? So he found me. By now I was, I'd moved from kind of Halifax Street Angels, which I ran, I set up in 2005 and was running till 2011 when I handed it over to Ellis, another lad who's still looking after it. So I kind of was looking after the development of Street Angels and sort of trying out new ideas and seeing what new areas we could pioneer and go into. So he found me, and we've kind of worked together over the years to develop Leeds, which, as I said, last year had 220 volunteers running these 4, 5, 6 different areas, if you include campsite and minibuses and logistics and sorting stuff out and getting set up, engaging with about 220 people. And because it works so well at Leeds, and because we have such a good reputation, it's kind of something that other festival organisers want for their own festivals, which is why we ended up at 61 last year, and we're currently talking to all the organisers about this year. So, yeah, that's kind of, in a nutshell, the story of how Festival Angels came to be, which is quite an amazing story, really.
I think I probably made this some comment last time, but I love how somebody has an idea and a passion that's, in a sense, really simple. We'll just serve tea to people.
Yeah.
You know, it's not complicated. It's not got many moving parts. It's a really simple thing, and yet so needed. And from that, we then have 60 plus festivals being served. And I didn't catch this last time, that they'd seen Street Angels and thought, oh, that'd be great in a festival, because effectively you're talking about some similar crossing over of people drinking probably more than they should. Then you've got vulnerability, you've got issues of care and all that stuff. But I do like how the festival organisers are saying we have a duty of care. How can we care better for the people who are paying to come into our, temporary city? We need to look after them.
We do, yeah. I mean, Festival Republic, who are one of the biggest festival companies in the country. So they run Latitude, had a hand in Download, Leeds, Reading, Creamfield. So they run kind of the biggest ones, the part-owned Glastonbury. So they're working at that level. But Melvin Benn has got an excellent kind of attitude towards, actually we do need to look after our clients, the people that turn up to go to a festival, recognising there's lots of levels of vulnerability. So he's done things like air hubs, the number of different support services from amazing organisations that are kind of popping up now at festivals, whether it's at one end Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Samaritans, Salvation Army are now in quite a lot of festivals and do amazing work with their sort of tea, coffee, cup of soups and simple sandwiches. There's support groups for girls, support tents for girls. So there's lots of kind of away from your typical welfare, first aid, lost property. Now it's a much more holistic approach to how can we best support and promote the other services that happen week in, week out in the towns and the cities where these festivals are and the communities that they serve. So yeah, it's I would say festivals are probably one of the safest places to be on the planet, because if something does go wrong, there's that many people there to help you. I remember once Kendall Calling, so a relatively small festival up in Penrith in the Lake District. This was the first one back after COVID. This girl walked in who happened to be my former neighbour, or lived fairly close to me. She's like, "What the heck are you doing here?" So I sort of explained festival. She's like, a bit like street angels at festivals. And she says, this girl that we were camping near has broken a leg.
Ooh.
Now, that's an unpleasant moment any time in life, but she slipped on some mud, because, of course, festivals in fields get very muddy. She'd broken her leg. Amazingly, within half an hour, she got picked up by the ambulance crew, the first aid on site. She'd had her leg x-rayed, and it was on its way to be put into a cast, all on a tent in the festival field. And we had worked with her and the festival organisers to sort a car out, because, of course, she couldn't drive home, and she'd come with a boyfriend who hadn't learned to drive. So we ended up working out logistics of getting the car home, getting her home, and all of that. So it was, festivals are safe places to be. And there's so many people that are just there to look after you and make sure that people have a safe fun festival. It's great to be part of that kind of dynamic and festival welfare family.
The obvious question, which I think I need to ask then, is why do you do this? It's tiring. You lose sleep. You're risking sunburn, dehydration. Portaloos, dodgy showers if they're available. What drives you, Paul, to want to do this, giving up so much of your time? Why, what's your heart behind wanting to do this at all?
Have you been reading our marketing strategy there? That's not a long list of come and do a festival. Why do it? I think because we believe Jesus loves festivals, and that is kind of one of our core messages. If you think about it, people are there, they're relaxing. It's almost like a holiday environment. People are there to have fun. They're there to listen to great music. They're there to chill, to forget about problems and issues and all that comes with being on holiday and being away from home and being at one of these great events. I think there's the fact that Jesus loves festival, and he loves festival goers. He would be there. I believe Jesus would probably be at Glastonbury and partying if he was alive in England in 2025. He would be within this culture, because it's a culture that brings people together. It brings different nationalities, different backgrounds, and everyone's one. When you're sharing a portaloo and you're camping, you're one. Trust me. It doesn't matter who you are, you are one. You are just in that moment. You are just part of this great experience. So I think, part of the answer is Jesus loves festivals. So let us, the church, be in these events, just sharing good news, being good news, looking after people, looking out for people. And I think people come for all different reasons, volunteer-wise. Some people come because they love the music. Some people come because Festival Angels has become a family, and they kind of feel connected in that. And we have lots of Facebook groups and WhatsApp chats and all the rest of it that kind of connect our amazing family of volunteers together. Some people get involved because family members are there, grandchildren, children naturally attend these festivals. So it's like, well, I'll come and help out. And, other people come because we've helped them in past years and they want to come back and help and get sorted. I know I had a lovely email once from a girl that was helped at Leeds Festival by our Festival Angels. And it's amazing, we put, festival going on, fairground rides, top acts from around the world, everything that comes with the festival. And these young people just love to come and sit in our cafe colouring in Bible verses. And that's their favourite part of going to a festival, is sat in our cafe colouring in Bible verses. So this one girl had come in, she'd engaged in conversation with some of the people in our tent. She then decided that she'd give church a try. She got baptised, all because of coming into our Festival Angels tent. And she came back a few years later to volunteer because she wanted to be part of that cycle of actually reaching the next generation of festival goers. So there's a whole host of reasons why people do it. But then, of course, we love people. We love festival goers. And actually, we want to show that love. We want to demonstrate that love and demonstrate the love that God has for every single person who rocks up, whether they get into trouble, whether they enjoy the music, whether they're there to whatever brings them to that moment, to that event. Let's be there for them. Let's just join in the fun of the festival, because festivals are great places to be.
Yeah, you talked about all the tea and coffees, and people can buy flasks and stuff, but I'm presuming that you just haven't got a massive warehouse of stuff that you can just trot out and give to people. How do you fund all the stuff that you're doing?
So it's funded on a bit of a wing and a prayer. So because we are selling cups of tea and coffee at Leeds, that kind of keeps some of the Leeds infrastructure going. Other festival committees, organisers generally pay for us to be there. So if we're delivering a service like first aid, lost property or the air hubs, safe hubs, they'll give us a donation. So yeah, it kind of all somehow keeps going. We also have tattoos that we ask for a donation of £1 for. Rain ponchos, we made a bit of money on those. So it's kind of bits from here and everywhere that somehow keeps this whole thing alive and going. Yeah, money doesn't really interest me. I just kind of love people, love being with people, love the whole vibe of the festival, and just want to be there just to make sure people have a safe, fun festival environment. That's kind of my heart and ethos behind it.
Which is what I love about you, Paul. You love people, and it absolutely comes out of every part of who you are. That's your desire, and that, I would say, is why there's a family feel, which is why people come back to help and do more. It's
something that's growing as well. I mean, I think we were kind of pioneering this back in 2011, but now the Methodist Church nationally they have a vision to be at more festivals. So I know they were at Silverstone last year, and they did some stuff around the Edinburgh Fringe. Download, it's been great that a local team of chaplaincy are in that festival, with all these heavy metal fans that are all probably dressed in the same colour t-shirt, black as you, Andy, with big beards and love Def Leppard and whatever the latest heavy metal bands are. They're there in their kind of vicar outfits, and they do a communion service. There's lots of different expressions of faith now within these festivals, and actually it's a welcomed part of most festivals. So I think this is something we've pioneered. We've built the links with festival organisers, and now lots of other groups are kind of coming in and getting involved themselves, which I think is fantastic.
I remember when I spoke to you last time, you were about to get quite a large surge. So 2024, you're seeing 60 plus festivals, which was considerably more than 23 in previous. What are we looking at for 25? How many festivals do you know of now? Has it gone up again?
I'm not too sure yet, to be honest. There's kind of always this waiting period. So each festival is kind of run on a year-by-year basis. So until kind of February, March, we don't know fully quite what we're looking at in terms of what festivals want us. I put out lots of emails, I've tendered, I've put expressions of interest in to some of to all those that we did last year and to some new ones as well. So yeah, it's kind of, working out where we've got people naturally that could best serve that local festival. Some of it. It's quite a logistical kind of pulling in lots of different strings and just kind of seeing what lands. And maybe we need to be at the same number again this year, just to build the team and build some of the strength of the teams that we've got now locally. Maybe we'll expand. I kind of just leave it to God, really, and just trust that he knows what he's doing and gets us into the right places, and somehow we end up not crazy at the end of September.
I think that is a fairly sensible way of leaving it up to God to see where he's leading and directing you. That is always a good plan. If people want to find out more about you, perhaps because they want to volunteer or maybe even help with you funding or whatever it is that's going on, how do they get hold of you and find out more?
Yeah, so we're quite modern, so we have a website. So the Street
Is
Angels.
that modern still, or is that like a
No,
prerequisite?
that's probably not now, is it? We're on TikTok. I love TikTok. TikTok is. We're about to lose the Americans to TikTok probably, but TikTok is great. So ROC Street Angels is our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, social media. ROC, because Street Angels, Festival Angels are now part of Redeeming Our Communities. So ROC Street Angels. Search for us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Website is streetangels.org.uk. For Festival Angels, it's festivalangels.org.uk. Festival Angels on Facebook and TikTok. Sadly, we had Festival Angels on Instagram, and we don't know who's got the password. So somebody set it up,
Oh
and then
no!
obviously left the organisation or forgot. So we're now Festival Angels #1. So Festival Angels 1 on Instagram, which is annoying because it kind of upsets the smooth presenting of our social media. But we're on all the main socials, and certainly in the summer we TikTok a lot from the festivals, and those TikToks are shared on Facebook, and we share lots of images. And as festivals come on board as well, we kind of share how people can sign up to volunteer. So we're out there, we're actively promoting and celebrating what our amazing teams are doing.
Awesome. Festivalangels.org.uk is one of the ones I picked up on. You can go and find out more about Paul. Paul, thank you. Thank you for your New Year's thing that you did and the happy birthday one that you did last September for us, which is brilliant. And your voice is still on the radio with
That's
a
a
little jingle.
scary prospect, isn't it? Goodness me.
I know. Terrible stuff.
That looks like people eating the cornflakes in the morning.
Paul, thank you. It is always a joy to meet you and to chat with you. I love how God has led this ministry just to grow the way that you're serving people in their vulnerable places.
I was going to tell. I did say at the beginning, for those that can remember back that long, so it's been quite a long interview, about New Street Angels. So yeah, we're Street Angels, which work on a weekend evenings generally in town and city centres. Some work daytime, so like chaplaincy and that kind of thing. And it's great that we're just in the process of launching 3 new ones at the moment, new for 2025. So Birkenhead, which is on the Wirral, overlooking Liverpool. So you get some amazing views across Liverpool and the 2 cathedrals and the Liver building and all of that across the Mersey. So we're looking at launching there. We did a trial night on Mad Friday. Altrincham, which is a suburb of Manchester. If you've ever been to Manchester, it's where the trams end up, or at least one of the line of trams ends up. So they're looking at launching in February, then just after Easter. And then Malta, just, Birkenhead, Altrincham, Malta.
Natural extension.
Catesville in Malta. They approached me at the end of last year to say that they're looking at achieving purple flag status. Purple flag is kind of the standard for a good night out. Lots of towns and cities in the UK will have purple flag status awarded. So they're looking at going for it. And part of purple flag is to have a patrol like Street Angels working with the local church and the local community. So it's great that this town in Malta has approached us. So, I've been to Birkenhead. I'm going to Altrincham. Hopefully Malta is on the cards, because it might
it's important
via Zoom. But there we go.
I think you need to get out there and see it on the ground. Be a different set of. It wouldn't be having rain ponchos quite so much.
No, suntan lotion.
Yes,
suntan
lots
lotion
of it.
in Malta. Yes, yeah.
Plenty of
Of course,
water.
we'll still need the flip flops. We'll still need the plasters. We'll still need the trying to locate people back to the hotel that they're stopping in, which is always fun because they can never remember. Giving out wristbands so that people can perhaps write their hotel on it after a heavy night out. So we'll still need all of that stuff, first aid and all of that, but working in a very different environment in Malta. Of course, we do have Street Angels in places like Magaluf in Spain. We've had them in Tenerife. We've got them in the Seychelles, in Australia, Brazil. So it is already established around the world, and it's great that Malta is looking at coming on board in 2025, which is amazing. Was that worth interrupting you for? Sorry, Andy.
That is definitely worth an interruption, mate. I honestly, I love how this has grown and is growing, and I love that you're trying to see where God wants to lead you, and that Jesus is the heart of what you're doing. Because just nicking a bit of a bad paraphrase, Mandy Hawthorne, it's the reason why we all do what we do. Because without him, what's the point of doing anything? He is the reason for what we're doing. Paul Blakey of ROC Angels, Street Angels, and everything angelic, I think you said last time. Thank you, pal. And have a fantastic rest of your day. And it's awesome stuff. Well done.
Great stuff. Thank you, Andy.
Pure 24/7 radio is listener supported, which means we are free, online, and always pure because of the generous support of our listeners. If you would like to contribute financially, please visit pure247radio.org. If you'd like to find out how we use your money, please visit the Our Cost section. Any donation of any size will help keep us on air and broadcasting for free. Thank you.